Okay, so firstly, find a comfortable position and really drop into your sujood stance here. So we're just turning the toes out, tucking the tailbone in, bringing your right hand over your left hand just by your belly button, dropping the shoulders from the ears and sinking into the ground with a slight bend of the knees. Turning your heels out and turning your toes out. We're just going to bend the knees slightly and sink. Taking the hands in a circle round and up just above the head into prayer palms. And then bringing them down to heart center. Taking the backs of the hands onto the thighs and sinking a little bit more. Just dropping everything into the ground. Twisting towards your left side, we're turning the left toes out, coming up onto the ball of our right foot, bending the knees slightly and reaching behind us with the left hand. Tucking your tailbone in here and bringing the right hand up to your heart center. Slowly transferring your weight into the left foot. We are coming up with our right knee in front of us, flexing the right foot and bringing the toes up to the ceiling. Bring the back of your left hand up to frame your face and take your right hand down to frame your hip with the palm facing forward. Retrace the movement and softly step back onto the ball of your right foot. Extending the arm out and reaching behind, dropping the shoulders from the ears and tucking your tailbone in. Keeping the arm lengthened, we're going to twist around to the other side, slowly transitioning, keeping your feet on the floor and moving as one. We're going to open up the right toes, coming up onto the ball of our left foot and extending behind us with our right hand, bringing our left hand to heart center. Transferring the weight into the right foot, we're going to bring the left knee up, flexing the left foot and bringing the toes to the ceiling. As we rotate, the back of the right hand frames the left side of our face and the left hand drops down by the left hip, palm facing forward. Retracing the movement, gently, softly stepping back onto that left foot, reaching behind. We're going to go for another twist round to the other side. So keeping the arm lengthened, keeping the feet on the floor, slowly transitioning to the left hand side. Keeping the tailbone tucked in, we're going to come up onto Garuda on one leg, where we're transferring the weight into the left foot, bringing the right knee up as high as we can in front of us, flexing the foot, bringing the toes to the ceiling. Retracing the movement, really sinking and dropping into each posture for at least 4 long breaths. Again, really feel the transition when you twist over to the other side now, turning to the right and reaching back over our right hand side. Slowly coming up onto Garuda on one leg on the right side. You want to bring the knee slightly to the left so you're opening the hip here. Retracing the movement back into 4 corners. Turning anti-clockwise back into the horse stance with the backs of the hands onto the thighs, dropping the shoulders down from your ears and keeping the tailbone tucked in. Bringing the hands up above into prayer palm. You just want the biceps behind the ears in this posture. And keeping the tailbone tucked in and the core engaged back straight, you want to hinge at the hips, coming into a parallel position to the floor. Bending the knees ever so slightly, just a little bit more. Really pushing, extending to the front. Straightening the legs and keeping the flat back, you're just going to come into a diagonal position. Really extending through the arms and keeping the biceps close to the ears. Bending the knees, coming back up into that flat back position. Tucking your tailbone in, hinging at the hips. Bringing your body up, keeping your arms close to your ears and your hands in prayer palms. We're going to do that one more time. So keeping the knees bent, tucking the tailbone in, come into the flat back position, keeping your arms close to your ears and prayer palms reaching forward. Straightening the legs, lengthening the spine and coming into a diagonal position with the prayer palms pointing to the floor. Retrace the movement, bend your knees and come back up into a flat back. Tuck your tailbone in, push your hips forward, bring your body up, keeping your arms close to your ears and pointing the prayer palms up to the ceiling. Bringing the arms down to shoulder height, flexing at the wrists, pointing the fingers up to the ceiling. We're going to push away as though there are two walls either side of you. Remember to drop the shoulders here and just try and find the rest in this posture. We're going to rotate both arms anti-clockwise, bringing the left behind and the right out in front, keeping that flexion in the wrists, pointing our fingers up to the ceiling and slowly retracing the movement back, bringing the left in front and the right behind. Try not to drop your hands lower than your shoulders here. Coming back, gazing to the front with arms either side of you. Keeping the extension in the arms, bringing the hands down to just below your pelvis. We're going to flex the fingertips up to the ceiling and pushing the wrists down and the palms to the floor. Rotating at the wrists and turning the back of the hands, just gently resting them on the thighs here. We're going to bring our stance slightly closer together, turning the toes inwards, turning the heels inwards. We're going to take our arms round and up into a circle, bringing our wrists crossed in front of our face. Keeping the tailbone tucked in, we're going to gently bend our knees and go into a low squat position, bringing and connecting the elbows to the inside of the knees here. Taking the left hand behind and slightly leaning back, we're going to drop the left knee and open up the hips. You're on the toes of the left foot, twisting your heel up towards the ceiling. The back of your right hand is framing the left side of your face and your hips are raised from the ground. Drop the heel of your right foot and extend the left leg out in front of you, flexing the feet and bringing the toes in towards your body. Bringing the left toes back to the floor, keeping that wide open hip stance. Slightly send your weight backwards to push up through your left hand into the squat position. Crossing the wrists and keeping them at heart center, just slightly away from your face. Push back up into a standing position, keeping the tailbone tucked in and shoulders dropped away from the ears. Swapping the hands over, keeping the tailbone tucked in, gently bend the knees and sink down into that low squat position again. This time keeping your elbows just slightly above your knees. Now taking the right hand behind us, we're going to slightly lean back and open the hips by dropping the right knee and twisting the right heel up towards the ceiling. Remember, hips dropped, chest open and frame the face. Now forward kick on the right side, extending the leg out, flexing the foot, bringing the toes in towards your body and keeping your hips off the ground. Bringing the right foot down onto the ball of the foot and keeping some space between our arm and our body just to make sure that we don't collapse into our shoulder. Lean back slightly, push through the right hand and come back up into the low squat. Slowly drop the bum down to the floor. We're going to just come into a cross-legged position with the right foot over the left knee. You want to keep your gaze forward, elongating the spine and just bringing the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and bring the back of your left hand up to the right side of your face. Your left elbow is slightly above your right knee and your right arm is dropped by your side with your palm facing forward. Extend your right leg in front, flexing your toes, flexing your foot. Keeping the leg extended, we're going to take it out to the right side and just bring the right heel behind our bottom. Keeping our arms in the position, we're going to twist our body over to the right so that the left shoulder comes down to the ground. Keep your core engaged and a force going upwards. You don't want to flop into the ground in this position. Retracing the movement and coming back up to gaze forward. Retracing the movement, bringing the leg back round in front, extending it forward, flexing the feet and bringing the toes in towards us, keeping the heel off the ground. Try not to drop the leg. Taking the right leg back over the left knee, we're now going to twist all the way to the right side, looking over our right shoulder, bringing the left arm, just connecting it with the right knee if we can, just to give ourselves that extra little push and extra little twist in the torso. Now for the other side, without using our hands, we're going to come up into a standard position and twist, rotate round anti-clockwise, back down to the floor into a cross-legged position with the left over the right. This time with the back of the right hand framing the left side of the face, the left hand just dropped to your side with your palm facing forward. Extending the left leg, flexing the foot, bringing the toes in towards you. Keeping the leg extended, taking it behind us, dropping the knee and bringing the foot in just behind our bottom. We're going to twist over to the left side, bringing our right shoulder and arm down to the floor. Remember, don't collapse here, just keep the core engaged and come back up into that seated position, gazing forward. Retrace the movement and bring the leg back in front of us. Keep the heel off the floor and really push and extend, flex your feet out in front of you. It will help you keep your leg lifted. Bringing the left leg back over the right knee, twisting over to the left side, connecting the right arm with the left knee. Looking over the left shoulder, keeping the right hand at heart center. So now just come into a comfortable seated position, gazing forward. Making a circle with our arms, bringing them above us, crossing the wrists and bringing them down to heart center. Dropping the breath, we're going to slowly twist to our left, keeping our hands aligned to our center as much as possible, moving on the exhale and holding on the inhale. From the left hand side all the way to the right hand side. And we're going to go one more time all the way to the left side. Keeping your shoulders dropped, chest open and crown pulled up to the ceiling. Back round to the right side. And then return to the middle. Now bring your palms into heart center and just slowly bend forward, bringing your elbows and your forearms down to the floor, just giving your lower back a stretch here. Try not to curve your upper back, you really want to open the chest. Come back up and I'm just going to show you how to do a Semba. Making a circle with your hands, bringing them into prayer palms at the top of your head, giving a slight bow, bring them down and rest them at heart center. And that is the end of your 15-minute session. I hope you enjoyed it.